That's right. It is the morning show right here on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube Live, of course, Periscope TV, and LinkedIn. Glad to have you with us. However you're joining us, we appreciate you. Today is the day. Yeah, we find out a lot about our country's current situation going forward. Who are you voting for? I don't know if we want to know that. I don't know. But because I don't want fights started in social media chat room. I simply want us to move forward past this and figure out how we're going to deal with the next day and a half, seriously. So I think a lot of people are a little bit nervous in certain areas, metropolitan areas to be exact. In other areas where it's like calmer and kind of, the majority vote kind of knows what they're voting. I think it'll be easier when their candidate wins. But in areas such as here in LA and abroad in metropolitan areas, I know many are already preparing, including the White House. Not sure if you guys saw this. The White House actually put up a very big fence, provided they already know what's going to happen. So a lot of people a little bit on edge right now, obviously. So, but will that prevent you from voting? I think not. I think a lot of people, probably more now than ever, will definitely cast their ballot. So a lot of people very interested in the results of this. And I think a lot of people are going to be watching that as the day draws in. So there you go. But first, let's say hello to Mr. Jesse Sanchez in our social media chat room over there. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
Obviously, a lot of people going to the polls, those that haven't sent in their mail-in ballots, right? Which I heard it was actually at an all-time high for the mail-in ballots. Some of which, though, of course, got questions, which are going to need answers. I think the last time we had a really big debacle was the hanging chads situation. You remember that?
No, I do not.
Yeah, that was a big thing because there were certain ones, certain punctures that were happening, and then it was like, well, how do you count a vote if it's hanging, right? It isn't punctured all the way, right? And way back when we talked about like, is there a better way to vote, right? So they've made progress, but I think it needs improvement, obviously. And I kind of wonder sometimes why, when you have so many years and you have technology being as good as it is, how difficult is it to create a device to vote quite easily and fast, right? But some of the questions get a little confusing. You ever go through the vote process and you're like, wait, you vote in other ballots or other, propositions. You're like, I feel like I don't know how to answer that one, right? It's difficult sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. All right. So get informed whatever way you're going, and I appreciate you. We'll do shout outs coming up around the corner. Stay tuned with more right after this. All right. For those of you tuning in, I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's see who is in the room, shall we? Let's see. Penelope Green. Thank you. General Miss Alin. I'll call you that. Let's see. Roger Laplante. By the way, we're no longer there. There's a reason for that. So no longer at that station. Thank God. Seriously. The owner, unwell. That's all I'm going to say about that. Stephanie Reed says, hello, happy editing this glorious day for today's awesome busy day ahead. Appreciate you. Let's see. Lance Mitchell. And you can tell him I said that. Seriously. He already knows. He did so much stuff.
20 seconds.
I can't wait to share that with America. Let's see. Pray for America, Lance says. Yeah. Let's see here. Look, when somebody kicks you out of a place that you rent from, without getting all the information illegally and then does some really crazy stuff, call me. I'll give you the 411. That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience over there on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope TV, LinkedIn Live, and much, much more. I appreciate each and every one of you joining us right now. We've got a lot of social media comments, which let's go to that. I appreciate the people in social media. We got Penelope Green says, good morning. We got Miss Alin tuning in. Thank you. We got Roger over there. Says vote us. Lance tuning in says good morning as well. Stephanie Reed from Cleveland, Ohio says hello, happy editing this glorious day for today's awesome busy day ahead. I like that. And Lance goes on to say pray for America, which sadly enough, I feel that's kind of where we're at right now. We got Mr. Jesse Sanchez over there. Good morning, Jesse.
Good morning.
I feel there's a little anxiety in the air. I don't know if it's just me. But I feel people are kind of a little anxious. I know I got calls from several people saying, stay safe over there. Anybody that's in a metropolitan area, check in on them, right? Make sure they're good to go. And I think, and I don't mean to spread this fear. I just want people, and I'm hoping once the votes come in, everybody will be like, oh, okay, well, that's the direction we got to go in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of whether, I feel it's going to be a mixed bag. Does that make sense? I feel in past years, it's been pretty close. You know, before the show, you mentioned Hillary, who says, you know, she gave in and she just says, all right, right? And people were a little let down, but America didn't explode in on itself, right? So my question is, just what's your feeling on this, Jesse? Because I know you're pretty smart at the end of the day, and you've called some things before they happen. So just out of curiosity, what do you think is going to happen?
Depends on who decides to pull out and to be the leader. If Trump decides to, or no, if Trump wins or looks like he's going to win, and people decide to, I feel like people are going to riot, mainly because there are a bunch of children who didn't get their way. But that's just my opinion.
I'm not going to lie. I feel either way it goes, it's a mixed bag. I really do. I feel the world is kind of like they got their own stuff, right? But if you look at certain countries, that's kind of the thing that's been happening around the world in different countries. No matter who wins in whatever election that they're currently having, you have a lot of unrest, right? The Black Lives Matter movement doesn't just happen here in the United States of America. It's happened in other countries as well. And in certain areas, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but some have been so upset and so mad and so angry as of late. It gets even more complicated when people just start like not wanting to make sense of it all, right? And not just being, you know, and I get it. People's right to argue is quite different than burning places up and breaking glass. You get where I'm going with this? So there's an obvious fine line between letting your voice be heard and then just creating more chaos. So I'm hoping that the majority of people here do not want to create more chaos. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the majority of people want to do what's right. And I'm hoping that the majority of people simply want to say, whatever's going to happen, let's remember at the end of the day, we all have a life to live, right? I don't want to go to prison. I don't want you to go to prison. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want you to hurt me. And at the end of the day, we have an election process for the simple fact, you know, to keep this country moving forward. So we got to move forward, right? Whoever is going to end up deciding the vote, the end vote, I feel it's going to be a very close tie. Suddenly. I mean, I would love to be to the point where it's like, you know, an obvious win. It's very difficult when it's a very close win, right? Because then you go, well, hold on, certain areas we're still waiting in. Remember? I think there was one where it was like, it was announced one was the winner, and then they had to go backwards and because they wanted to be the first to announce the winner. Do you remember that, Jesse?
No, I do not.
Yeah.
When was
it was a couple votes back. I'll be honest, I can't remember. I'm sure somebody in social media remembers that. And it was so close. I think it was the Hanging Chads situation. It was so close. It was like, and then it got to the point where there were certain people that made it impossible for people to recount. Remember, recount the vote?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of money to be had to recount, by the way, because you got to pay people to recount. It's not like volunteers just go, hey, I'm just going to volunteer my time for free, right?
Right.
But do they? I don't know. Do they? I don't know. I'd question that, but okay. But look, if the federal government can make you pay your taxes, I'm pretty sure they can find the votes, right? So there you go. Stuff. Is there a caller that called in, Jesse, that we need to put on just out of curiosity?
No caller. It was something else.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Tell those telemarketers we pay our bills. All right, people. So what? Some people are not paying their bills. I guarantee it. I know it because, you know, credit card companies are actually a lot nicer lately. If you owe a bill, if you call your creditors, they're almost more human than they ever used to be. I called one and I tried to resolve a deal, right? And oddly enough, they were so nice. I was like, they're like, we really want to work with you. I'm like, nobody's paying their bills, huh? I wanted to say that, but I didn't. I thought it was funny. So if you owe a bill, I think now's the time to start cashing in on that. Meaning, like, they'll make a deal with you just to get paid because nobody's paying their bills right now. Seriously, nobody's paying their bills. Like from the top down, nobody's paying the bills. Government's not paying the bill. Guaranteed. They're like, right? Obviously not doing the right thing. Here's what I hope. Moving forward, I don't care who wins. Can government just go back to, oh, that's right. People are hurting financially. People are financially not doing well. People are struggling. People in America need help. Let's do that. What's so wrong with that? We could have done that before and or during, right? Just make it happen, people. And forget your political agenda, your political leaning, forget your lining your own pockets. Just pass the bill that says no matter the person, whether they vote Democratic, Republican, Independent, or don't vote at all, because there's a whole section of people that just say, it's just rigged anyway. Let's just make it so that the country can move forward. Can we do that? I mean, I've been talking about that for the last 3 weeks, but you can't undo stupid. So moving forward, can we see that happen? Just saying, I mean, if you're going to go toe-to-toe with anybody, I'm ready to go toe-to-toe with Congress. Seriously, ridiculous. All right, people. Let's see who else is in the social media chat room, shall we? Let's see. We've got... So back to you. Thank you, Lance, for saying pray for America. Pray for the world, though. The world is going up in flames, as I've been seeing it. Seriously. You got to be careful a little bit there. Fraser Ramsey from Scotland. He's talking from the outside looking in. He says, y'all voted for Trump. I think if you poll the majority of our audience members, you'd find a lot of non-Trumpanites, oddly enough. But I think it'll be skewed one way or the other. And you've got the electoral vote, and then you got the popular vote. Now, some say it's a good balance. I say, I don't think so. Because at some point, you have to say, well, at what point does voting really matter? Oh, it matters per district and or state. But, and imagine, Jesse, for a minute. Imagine you were running for president in high school. Okay? I don't know if you ever tried. But just out of curiosity, if they made like per class electoral vote, statistically, if it were between you and Jenny, and all of a sudden Jenny got more electoral votes than you, but technically, if you took each vote in of itself independently, and you won because you're awesome, like by a landslide.
Okay.
Would you be upset that she won when they do the per classroom capita because some of the classrooms were skewed in a direction to be against you? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Because I'd be mad. I'd be like, what the heck? The history classes get a couple more electoral votes than the English classes.
Which don't you do the rumor? Some people like the popular vote and some people hate the popular vote, right? But when it's you're like, really? Right? I would be that person, right? If I won the popular vote and lost the electoral, I'd be like, excuse me, at what point does the popular vote not count? So you're basically saying the electoral vote counts. Why do we even have a popular vote? Why is that like a subsection? Like you won in this category, but you lost in that category. You understand? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Maybe in the late 1700s when they actually adopted that, okay. But we had an archaic way of thinking back then, right? We didn't have online capabilities, right? We didn't have hackers, right?
Okay, if we get rid of the electoral college, I demand that all presidents go through some type of physical challenge. Right?
And our IQ test. I would be okay with that. And our emotional. Well, I don't really want the emotion. Actually, I kind of do want the emotion. Well, no, not really. But the IQ test keeps you more logic, right?
Yeah.
Right? You need a country ran by a logical person, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I feel the IQ test would actually be the better option of the two. Emotional is good, but what kind of doctor do you want to take care of your brain tumor? Just out of curiosity. Do you want an emotional doctor or do you want a logical doctor?
Good question. Good question.
You want a logical doctor, right?
Right?
Do you want an emotional doctor to be like, we took an artery out. Oh no. Oh, you don't want the anxiety dude in the room, right?
No.
You want the cool, collected guys. We got some bleeding here, right? Can you give me the tool that solders that off? Good. Okay. Oh, we saved the life. Good. All right. Now let's fix the brain tumor and get the. Oh no! Right? You get the anxiety because now there's pus coming up, right? Because now you punctured.
This is why I don't play the game Operation. What happens?
Yeah, because you went too deep. Oh, I didn't see that one coming, right? And splattering all over the face mask. Thank God they have like face shields, as doctor brain surgeons, right? But my point is this: who do you want in office? The calm, collected, logical dude, or the super emotional and egocentric? We all know what we're talking about. Okay. My point is this. You want the logical person in the room. So get the logical person in the room, whoever wins the presidency. But my hands are tipping. I'm saying it here. If this were a baseball game and it were the World Series, I would say I have a feeling Trump's going to win. And the rest of the country has to get over it. You have to get over it. Don't throw caution to the wind, people. Don't be that person. Okay. If anything, be the leader in your own community and say, well, that's didn't see that coming. I don't watch the morning show, but he did say it. All right, people. And I'd be amazed if Kamala and Biden win. I really do. Because again, I see Kamala winning. Maybe that's like an alternate universe, and maybe that universe is actually smarter. I don't know. I hope not. All right, people. I love you. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back right after this. Stay tuned. All right. Appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Let's see. Roger. Let's see. I think the rumors of war are the ultimate Trumpian hoax on it. Wait, what? I think the rumors of war are the ultimate Trumpian hoax on America.
I think he's referring to the if Trump wins, there will be civil unrest type of thing.
There's war already happening in China and India, just ready to go. I mean, I'm not going to announce that it has happened, but they're ready to go at war in China and India. That is not a hoax, people. That is not a hoax. That's called Trump wants to go to war, I feel, with China, but they already signed a pact to help come back to India. That we made an announcement about that already a while back. But there is no hoax with the coronavirus because you got to look at the world, right? Oh, all the countries are wanting to, like, you get where I'm going with that? We have to deal with, but I understand what you're saying. I get that. Like, because civil war has kind of been talked about in certain circles. Even friends of mine are like, oh, maybe it's going to take a civil war. I go, why would you want that? Get the smart people in the room, get the unsmart people out of the room, and then put the smart people in the room and say, hey, let's talk about things, right? Civil unrest is civil unrest because there's a problem that needs to be fixed, right? So bring in the leaders of every organization that says, hey, we don't agree with what you're doing. Okay, come on in. Let's check the guns at the door, people. And then let's have an open forum discussion. And let's say, look, what can we do to make police officers do the right thing? What do you think, if you were running a police agency of your own, that you would like to see happen? How difficult is that discussion to have? Has any president ever done that? Yeah, a lot of good presidents have done that, right? Maybe behind closed doors. The Kennedys have done that several times. Don't believe me, look it up. But my point is, how difficult is that? Pull people on opposite sides of the table in on the same conversation. And if you have to have a plexiglass divider so that they don't go at each other in the same room, I've seen that happen in certain like Senate, like other countries where they like go fists. Have you ever seen that, Jesse? It's hilarious. They don't even know how to
No.
throw punches, but they do so because they get so mad and angry because they get so heated up, right? I mean, it may be funny in one way, but when you got weapons involved, right?
We have 10 seconds.
Gun sales are at an all-time high, by the way.
Yeah, that's not a.
That's scary. That's scary.
Just a bit.
Yeah, let's not do the wrong thing, people.
2 seconds.
That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course our good friends over at Periscope TV, LinkedIn as well. And let's see, got lots of people tuning in. We got Stephanie Reed says, I already voted, and in my opinion, it will be a toss-up between the two. Yeah, you know what? And I like you, Stephanie. Thank you for being real about it. It's anybody's game. I feel if you, at the end of the day, said anything, both went at it as best as they could at the end of the day. Again, if this were the World Series, right? There's got to be a winner and there's got to be a loser, right? Is your team the winner or the loser? But at the end of the day, if you're the winner, you're not going to go and tear up LA, are you? But so you see why okay, for those of you tuning in from other countries and or other states, LA is one of the weirdest places to live in because we win a title and you still see people doing stuff. I didn't report it the other day because I just couldn't get my head around it. But a couple people died during the World Series. That we won, but there was a problem, right? Wrong. Like people just find a reason to get mad, angry, and upset. Not all. There's people that, that just take advantage of the opportunity. So there's those people. There's those people that take advantage of an opportunity on both sides of the aisle, right? And or whatever ethnicity. I've seen Anglo-American people participate in Black Lives Matter, and they're the ones going and getting a surfboard from Santa Monica. I've seen teenagers just going because it's called mob mentality. So back to that. We're back to that. I hope not, but this is why certain places are bracing for impact. And I hope like hurricanes, I don't know if it's like pie in the sky mentality, but you're hoping, it's not going to be as big as it is, but boy, oh boy, are they prepared, right? So Beverly Hills, Santa Monica preparing, lots of downtown LA preparing for that. And I hope the next week and a half is not us having to say, really, people? Come on. Seriously? I really do. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping for America. That you just say, look, if there has to be a recount, if a recount's even a close, maybe it's a full victory on one end. Then if it's marginal, that's a part I think is still up in the air. I think that's going to be the question, right? If you had like a 3/4 landslide deal, Biden and Kamala, I think people would be okay with that, right? Wrong? What do you think, Jesse?
If we what?
Well, do you think it's going to be skewed in any one direction? Do you think it's going to be like a close tie? Because I can see like innings, late innings, like in the game, like World Series, boom, they're like 9-9 in the 9th inning, and then now you got to go in like overtime, right? 10th, 11th. We don't have that.
No, we don't
with America, right? So you got to go back to like the votes and the ring. I just hope it's not one of those because that's. I don't think this country can. At the end of the day, I just think, hey, Congress, can you do a relief bill because people are hurting over there? And do one that makes sense.
Need to put them on minimum wage.
I think if we put them on minimum wage for the amount of time that they've made us all wait, that's not a bad idea, Jesse. But a lot of them have so much financial means.
It's not hurt them.
Yeah, they almost they're so well off. I think how many did we determine were like billionaires or millionaires?
Well, yeah, too many.
Then go retire because you're not helping the rest of America. Seriously, stupid people running the country and more dumb ones every day. All right, people. I'm sorry. I get mad. It's just all right, whatever. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We got more conversations happening in social media. We're going to bring those out pretty soon. Again, vote. And if you did, be happy with the result. whatever way it is. We're still got coronavirus, people. We'll be right back. All right, let's see. For those of you tuning in, I got to fix my mic. It keeps like collapsing on me. All right, let's see. Roger, thank you for sharing that. I know. Is it getting out? Is it getting out of control? I think he's losing it, to be honest. I really do. Don't tell him I said that. You know, I don't care if you do tell him I said that. My bad. Thought you. I understand. He is whack. Right? Oh, mentally unwell. I'm just saying. I mean, who does that? Who kicks out two people paying, especially my mom? That's why I take issue. And if I told you the rest of how he tried to get us out, oh, it's bad. It's terrible. I don't even want to say it publicly, but I will say this. He basically, I'll say it for another conversation. Hit me up after and I'll tell you what he did. Oh, man. There are some stupid people in the world, and I used to call them friends, and I no longer call them friends. And the guy still wants his remote control back after all the stuff he did. Like, can you give me the remote control back? Go buy yourself a new one. That's what I feel like saying. But I'll do the right thing, send it back, and or bring it back, and then tell the people that work with him, you know how much of an idiot this guy is? He like kicked me and my mom out and then did something really heinous just to get us out. Yeah. Seriously. Some people are like, whoa, who would do that? Well, he couldn't get us out the right way because you can't evict people for no reason.
Exactly.
Seriously. He must think I don't know what he did, but I know. And if he's watching, I already know what you did. That's why I think it's funny you called me asking for stuff. Dumb. I just pretend like I don't know, but I know.
2 seconds.
That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope TV, and of course, our good friends over at LinkedIn. Glad to have you with us. Today's the day. Did you make your vote count? Have you already done the vote? Some of you are tuning in from around the world. You're like, what is going to go on over there, right? Which sometimes I wonder why people are so interested on what happens in America. Sometimes I wonder about that. But we got people from Scotland tuning in, which I know we've had conversations. Go follow him. Fraser Ramsey tuning in as well. Katya Wunderland from Switzerland tuning in. Thank you. Let's see. We've got Shadow tuning in from YouTube. Thanks to YouTube Shadow 3413. Says both candidates have a fair chance. And let's see. Roger says gladiator fight between the candidates. That would be pretty awesome. I would sign up for that. Not for like the death kill, right? Do you remember that, Jesse? Like in certain movies, when at the end of it, then they look at the emperor, and the emperor would be like thumbs up or thumbs down, right? At the end,
who'll be president?
Yeah, exactly. So. I just think an IQ test is warranted. What? I would like to see which has the higher IQ. I think Trump probably used to have a good IQ. I do. I think it's slowly declined over the years, but I honestly think if you put all four in the same room, I think Kamala would technically skew higher on that IQ test. I really do. I'm just saying. All right. But I don't think it's going to go that way. I just don't. I think they would like it to go that way, but I don't think it's going to go that way. So, yeah, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. You know, Trump actually said in an interview, he says if he lost this election, he would just run again in 2025, 2024, 2025, 2025, I think 2025, 4 years, done. So, but you know, you'd have to campaign in 2024. You have to start campaigning. But so, you know, and I'm like, okay, so does that mean he's willing to admit defeat? Which I think is kind of a good, you know, way to look at it. I'm okay with that. He wants to run in 2025. Good job. You know what? Let's stick with that. If you lose, you lose, but you walk away kind of like Obama did, right? You could tell Obama kind of wish he had the ability to go another term, right?
I think most presidents do.
But remember when they met? I was watching like a hawk, right? In the interaction when they hand off the authority and the wives meet, you know what I mean? And you're like, are you play acting that you like him? Because he went at you hard, and now you're like, oh hey, smiley. I know what you said, right? Like it was pretty public knowledge, but all of a sudden they're very cordial. Oh, but everybody knows that's like two ex-wives meeting in the same room over the one guy, right?
Awkward.
Well, the ex-wives would get along, right? The ex-wives would be like, hey, let's talk about the dude in the room. He's an idiot, right? Yeah, I know. But then you have the wife there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I don't know if I like this moment, right? I feel Trump sometimes feels that way because he knows what everybody's saying about him. I think that's why he calls out news agencies, fake news, right?
Yeah.
He attacked news agencies late in the game, actually, right? After he became president. Not before. He was loving news. Or wait, did he do it before? I don't remember. Or he did it before and after. I can't even remember that far back.
I can't even remember.
Yeah. But remember, there are people telling the facts regardless. Coronavirus is here. Hello. Right? Financially, economy not doing great. I think there'll be a slight uptick if Trump wins, and then it'll be a sharp decline because then he's probably going to do something dumb around the corner. Again, I'm willing to say I'm wrong. Look, if Trump doesn't win, I didn't vote for the guy, just so you know. I'm just theorizing because I like to do that. I like to theorize possible outcomes. You know, a World Series happens. There's people that are analysts, but then there's people that are number crunchers. And then there are just people that just know stuff, right? And they just know stuff. And sometimes I say stuff I don't even want to say. But then it ends up going that way. And I'm like, oh, man, call it a sixth sense, right? Whatever that is. Some of you have it. Some of you just know. Right. So if you feel a little anxiety in the stomach about this election, rightly so, but we have to wait and see what happens. But I like the gladiator idea. So that's not a bad idea.
Roman gladiators or something like American gladiators, like the show.
Ooh, which one do you think would do better?
Well, obviously, if you want to see them get cut up and stuff, you're gonna want the Roman gladiators. But I don't know. It'd be funny to see them get shot in the face with a giant tennis ball.
Well, I think I don't really know how that would skew. Trump is not in the best of shape. Have you seen him play golf? Not the best.
That's why I said we need a physical challenge so that we get a president that's in shape and can.
Well, here's what I would like to see. You ready? Call of Duty video game and or VR experience. Who is a smarter man in the room? Out of three, count them 3 moments, like or put them in a strategy game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they both play chess. I would like to see who is the strategist in the room, right? Or if they don't know how to play chess, who is the one that can outmaneuver and or outthink the other one? Or who has the better team? Put the whole team in the same room. Like, you know, those esports arenas, put the Trump administration, all the team members, because you know it's not just Trump. It's the people behind Trump that make Trump, right?
Yeah.
And those that don't believe that, I mean, there's reasons why he's 1 minute like, blah, 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 and then all of the next minute he's reading it word for word, like, I hate this, but I'm going to read it because I'm told to say that, right? I want those people in the room, right? To play the game against the other party. Can we make that happen? I think we should like do a rematch, even after like whoever wins, just do a rematch and then see. Then America would have been like, we're dumb. We should have picked that guy, right?
Ooh, got a better idea.
Yeah.
Let's put them in an escape room and see which one gets out the fastest.
Oh, you went next level there. You went next, like, escape room. Can you just explain to those that have never been a part of an escape room experience? Because that, I'm not going to lie, that's not a terrible idea. It's a freaky idea, depending on the escape room situation. Because that would freak me out. Because I go to Jigsaw type of escape.
Oh, no, that's scary.
Yeah, well, I think if you did that, what? Does anybody know what Jigsaw is? Jesse, would you like to explain what Jigsaw is?
Jigsaw's the villain from the Saw movies, and it's some type of doll or something like that. To be honest, I really didn't watch the Saw movies because they weren't really my thing. But no, that Jigsaw, the creepy doll, it's creepy. I do not like it.
So I'm just saying, if you did that, and then that's another level. But can you explain the escape room? How because those are a thing still. I have a couple friends that run a couple of them, by the way. So
yeah. I love escape rooms. They're it's like it's an interactive game. So you're put in the first room and you're given a scenario and you have to solve the puzzle on like who killed this, or you got to find this or something like that. But it takes a lot of critical thinking to get out of an escape room. But I remember I went, I think last year, and I almost made it out. Another 10 minutes I would have done it, but it's incredibly difficult. There are a lot of puzzles, and it's best to bring a lot of smart people.
Yes. So but that's also kind of, don't you want those people in your life, smart people, right?
You do.
Technically, because they can help you work out through any problem. Given enough time, sometimes I think, like, if you had to do it again, which people would you exclude from the room, right? Because you'd be like, oh no, like you're the worst person in the room, right? Back to emotional quotient of a particular person. You're like, if you have full anxiety and you like crumble at the moment of like logic, I don't want that person in the room, right? Or you think you're all that, and then you get in the room, and then you're like, I did nothing to help the rest of the people. You don't want people to go, yeah, you would have killed us all, right? Like, at least those you can walk away from, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, know who's in your camp. Know who's in your camp, right? That's all that I say. I think if I were to ever run for president, I would be like, a good team building exercise would be an escape room challenge, right? Unless, of course, I was the one in the room that was like, I would have never gotten that. I was the weak one in the room. Then I'd question myself. So I think I would put my administration in the room, right? And then let them duke it out. I think I would do like a Men in Black situation. Remember that Men in Black? Do you remember the way they like try to figure out the candidate, Will Smith's character? Do you remember?
Yeah.
How did that go?
Let's see. First, they did a written test, and then they did a shooting test, and then they did the eye test. So, yeah. So
there's that, the theory test, the hello, there's a table. Remember they were trying to sign it like we got the best of the best of the best of the best. Yeah, the very best. Will Smith, they're like, there, let me get the table in the room, right? There's some logic. It's just common sense, people. That's what I hope we say on the morning show. It's common sense. Okay, I don't want to be the dumb guy in the room that's all, the guy with all the accolades, which is smart in his own right. Like the Will Smith movie, each one of them were the best of the best of the best of the best, right? But the Will Smith character comes in, he just uses logic and like reasoning, like, oh, there's a table over there. Sure, nobody's going to like the screeching of me pulling it over here, but it's going to be easier to not mess up my vote on this application. I'm just saying. So there you go. All right, people, I love you. Let's see. Let's go to the chat room, chatting it up. Let's see. Algenia says this written test. I think it was a IQ test. Let's see. Shadow says the game Clue. You remember that game? That was a good game. I like that. Like who done it, right?
I love Clue. That was a great game. Have you ever seen the movie?
I did several times.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah. Then let's see. He does say this from YouTube. Trump fired everyone from the White House. What's next? Sad but true. You know, I saw an article before we went live, right, Jesse?
Mhm.
Let me bring it up. Actually, here it is. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Trump, although he says so much stuff and then he doesn't do half of what he says. So sometimes I think it's just like a misdirection. Trump, but here's a headline, okay? Regardless of whether he wins or doesn't. Trump suggests he might fire Fauci after election. What? He is the only guy, he's been the only guy consistently right through it all. Why would you fire him? Because he talks bad about you? Guess what? A lot of America talks bad about you. You can't fire us. Can he make a call to the station and say, I want Aaron gone? He could? Would they listen, though? I hope not. My goodness.
I'm getting rid of Aaron's citizenship. You're gone.
Yeah! Thank you. Lock him up in prison. Now, there's some dictators that do that, by the way. I'm not going to lie. If I were in China, I'd probably be locked up for half the stuff I say, right? As of most recently.
That.
Yeah, they don't like you. Boom, you're gone, right? Secret Service, boom. Russia does that, right? We don't like you. State-controlled media. You really got to go, well, you got to tell them what to say, what not to say. Thank God, and that's why I love America. At least America has the wherewithal not to be a state-controlled democracy, right? Thank God you have multiple choices for your news entertainment, right? Thank goodness you could see the right side, the left side, the middle side, the nonprofit organizations that try to keep just tell the story, right? Those are good. But I like to see opinions on like the forward thinkers. Like, well, where is, if it goes this direction, what are you going to get from that? I've been reading a lot of articles on both sides of the subject, which is why I feel, unfortunately, Trump's going to be the one to win. I mean, I saw somebody crunch the numbers on the electoral vote, and they go, "Well, he's actually smarter in the electoral vote. He's smart." So somebody back there, I can guarantee it's not Trump, because he's like calling stuff out, and they're like, "You can't do that." Got it. I can't tell governors what to do. I can't make what kind of presidency is this? Remember that? Do you remember that? Governors are like, he doesn't have that power. That's not like it. Then there was another thing, and the Senate was like, no, that's kind of why we're here. Look, man, when I run a business, I'm a CEO. People do what I say. You're right. You kind of saw like that Trump. So back to this. United States President Donald Trump suggested to a Florida crowd Monday night he may fire Dr. Anthony Fauci after the election, escalating his feud with the nation's leading expert on infectious diseases and providing a window into a potential post-November 3rd administration purge. You said it, Jesse. You said there would be a purge. They're calling it out. It's an administration purge. Speaking after midnight following a full day of campaigning, the president was complaining about news media coverage of COVID-19 when the crowd broke out into a fire Fauci chant. Why? The dude is trying to keep you guys safe. He's been saying since, I believe, February, hey, people. But he was always the calm guy in the room. And I'm pretty sure if I had to go into an escape room that talked about like infectious diseases, I'd want him in the room. Wouldn't you? I'm just throwing it out there. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right, because I'm usually right. And nobody likes to listen to me. And then when things go wrong, they go, "You did say that, didn't he?" Let's see. Trump said this: "Don't tell anybody, but let me wait until a little bit after the election. I appreciate the advice," Trump said to Cheers. Oh, what it will. Well. Later, Trump claimed Fauci is a nice guy, but he's been wrong a lot. About what? Hold on. I'm going to read this article. Trump has previously claimed Fauci opposed mask wearing earlier in the pandemic. Well, he might be right about that. He might be right, because the CDC were like, no about face masks. But if you go back to the tape of my statement, I told you this. I said very early on, I says, I don't know. I even was like, I would wear it during the flu. I carry ones in my backpack. I used to make a joke about it. Now it's no longer a joke. But way back in the day, I said very simply, maybe they're trying to tell this to people because they're running out of the N95s, which is what they were doing, right? So I do think he did that. But I'm going to give Trump a 1-up on that. 1 Trump, 0 Fauci on that one. Let's see. Though at the time, the administration was concerned about supply levels of medical grade equipment. Oh, yeah, exactly. Right. So, so they were kind of telling people, whoa, right? Which is why everybody really, especially went on to lockdown. Nobody had face masks. That was a big deal, right? PPE equipment needed to be ramped up. Right, New York Cuomo saying, guys, we're at the forefront of this. Our hospitals are inundated. We need more ventilators. Guaranteed, by the way, who's got enough ventilators ready to go? Because we're seeing a spike coming up around the corner. We really are. Guaranteed. There's already one state that's already locked down, by the way. Starts with an M. I got to look it up. I'll be right back with more right after these messages with that information, because guaranteed, I don't care who ends up getting in. I do, just like the next person, but we got to move forward together as America and the world. Don't forget, we're not on this planet alone. All right, people, we'll be right back right after this. All right, let's see. Social media and chat room. Let me look up really quick that information, because the lockdown here in the United States, which I said it was going to start. I can't remember if it was Michigan. I saw it on Yahoo, of all places. You know what? Let me bring up Yahoo really quick. It just came across my feed, and I was like, oh, really? Unless it was an old article, which I think it was a new article. And I know El Paso already has done that. I should have shared it to my wall. Maybe it was an old one. I hope not. I'm going to have to come back and say. Oh, here we are. Is it this one? Michigan? Hold on. Thank God for Google. And then I'm going to find it later and be like, ah, man. I would like to see how many people voted for Biden and Kamala because of Kamala. Does that make sense?
30 seconds. Yeah, that does make sense.
Because I think if you put Trump and Pence in the room, majority would just vote for because they were voting for Trump, not Pence. Does that make sense?
I think it's why they voted.
Yeah. I think I'm looking up the wrong Google thing. Lockdown state.
10 seconds. It's the final countdown.
I can't find it.
2 seconds.
That's right. It's the morning show right here on ABC News Radio, KMET, 1490 AM. Joining our live stream audience there, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, Instagram. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. I may have been incorrect, but I think I'm right, because I did see it, unless it was an old article. Sometimes people post old articles and then we get all in on it. Right. So sometimes you have to and I should have looked at the article, but it came up on Yahoo. If anybody has that, or you happen to know where it's at, because I want to say one of the states actually was already doing it, but it started with an M. So I could have the wrong information. But there you go. And, El Paso already has done that, right? Done a curfew. And, so there you go. But there's another state. Here it is. Yeah, here it is. Thank you. God, I thought I was going crazy. Massachusetts starts with an M. I was right. Massachusetts governor orders statewide overnight curfew amid a spike in COVID-19 cases, including an outbreak at a church linked to nearly 150 infections. Governor Charlie Baker announced these new mandates. The most significant order is a new curfew mandated an overnight stay-at-home order between 10 p.m. and 5 a.m. The other primary mandates force residents to wear masks both indoors and outdoors and limit private gatherings to 10 people. It goes into effect Friday. Violators can be fined $500. The new restrictions come amid a surge in COVID-19 cases, with the state recording more than 1,000 new cases for 9 days straight. Ouch, that's a lot of cases every single day. Among the outbreaks is a church event. The event was held at Crossroads Community Church around October 18th, of course, which I keep telling you, people, I said this a while back, use and make use of online ability. You know, you can create, even on Facebook, you could create like chats on that. I know of a couple smart churches that did that, which I consulted for and helped them get ready for this. And I remember having a conversation with one church, and they're like, oh no, we think it's going to go back to the way it was eventually. I go, are you prepared for that? Because I think it's not. I think you need to prepare now to stay online, be online, and just get ready in the event that it goes back. And this person was very smart. He actually said, well, that's true. Our school's starting to do that already. And that was back in early August, actually. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I hate to say this, but I think we're going to be in it for the long haul. Now, look where we're at, November, right? So you kind of almost have to kind of say, were you right the whole time or were you wrong the whole time? And you always have the right information at the right time, which I say, where did you get your information from? Because going forward, if you were wrong, you need to accept you were wrong. Because accepting you're wrong isn't a bad thing, because then you don't keep going forward with wrong information from the same wrong sources. Do you understand? I mean, Jesse, I hate to like blow our trumpet, but we've been more right than wrong on this show when it came to coronavirus, right?
Have we? I don't know. We say a lot of stuff, so I'm never quite sure.
Jesse, okay, I'm about to like pull a I told you so moment. Back in March, early March.
Okay.
Were you wanting to wear a face mask?
I never want to wear a face mask, but I will always wear a face mask because I'm always worried about the others around me.
Roll the tape. No, I'm just kidding. I don't have that ready to go. But Jesse, who was behind the scenes telling you, saying, better to be safe than sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom would thank me.
Yeah, she probably would.
She will, because I'm gonna pull up that tape, Jesse. I seriously am. No. But my point is this: look, at the end of the day, whether I'm right or wrong, I was right about this. I was right back in March. Okay, it doesn't take a rocket scientist, but I was looking at the news from the trusted professionals in the area of expertise that they were in. I lost a friend, a close friend, because they said, don't worry about it. It's not going to be a big deal. I said, it is going to be a big deal. They're like, I'm going to move to Texas. I go, it's going to get worse in Texas. That was in March, by the way. I have the text to prove it. I deleted her as a friend because she did so much bad stuff online. I had like 3 people that have done that against me. And I'm like, all right, saving that text so I don't forget at the end of the day how dummy you are. But that conversation proved to me right there and then, some people are willing to throw caution to the wind and be like, I'll be fine, I'll be safe. But are you prepared in the event that it goes down this way? Which at the end of the day, this is what we have to remember about ourselves, people. If Trump wins, will he at least be smart enough to say, let's make it work? So A, we understand coronavirus is still around. B, there is no vaccine currently available being rolled out right here, right now. And C, hey, since I won, it's okay to say I wasn't always right. But we're going into the cold winter months here. Cold and flu is already bad. We've already had experts here on the morning show talking about how coronavirus, if coupled with one or both or all 3, could get worse for all of us, not just those already at risk. Remember when it was just really, 65 and over, or what was it? It was like 60 and over. Got to be careful with the elderly. But we've seen numbers come in from all walks of life, from all ages, from super healthy bodybuilders to the very young. Granted, we have the numbers to prove the majority get well. Some, though, get it and fight it for months. Okay. Some have a pre-existing condition, want to go into the hospital, but can't because they're overrun by coronavirus. And that's where we're going, people. That's where we're going. I can tell you right now, if you're here and you're listening, I can tell you that's where we're already going. All the numbers around the world have already indicated this. We're not isolated on this little island of the United States of America, which we happen to share with Canada and we happen to share with Mexico. But guess what? Their numbers, not as high as ours. Canada might be neighbors, but they're smarter about it. Can we learn from them? Yeah. I think we would need to learn from our neighbors north of us. Don't you, Jesse?
Oh, most definitely, eh?
Yeah. I mean, let's learn from our neighbors. Let's not do the dumb stuff in the room, right? All right, I'm out of time. But I'm going to continue my rant on social media. Follow me, Aaron M. Sanchez, all platforms. Make it a great day. Remember, download our app. It's free. KMET, 1490 AM. All right, for those of you tuning in, I appreciate you. Let's see who's in the chat room. Let's keep the conversation going. I really appreciate you. This is the part where I get to be real, more real than I can be real on ABC. By the way, it's my show, it's my content, and I'm no longer on over-the-air broadcast. So FCC can't get mad at me. People that disagree with me can and often do get mad at me. But at the end of the day, I always say, let's walk away as friends because I may learn something from you. Because I've had people on the show which disagree with me at first, and at the end they go, so we're basically saying the same thing. Yeah, pretty much. But, you know, I like my guy better than you like no guy. Because I really, honestly, I like one person. All right, I'll be honest. And that person is the person who does the right thing by the people. Okay? That's all I ask. I think at the end of the day, that's all we all ask, right? But we get so many skewed moments of rhetoric of don't pay attention to the facts, right? I think that's where the country's at right now. Nobody's paying attention to the facts. But people go, well, which facts you got to take care of first, right? Well, there's the economy, there's financially, right? Which, no truth to the rumor, are actually separate things. Because financially, you may not be better off, but the economy may be doing really well, right? But you can't do what you need to do because your place of business is currently closed because there's certain industries literally drying up overnight, right? Retail sector, at least in business, how many malls are like out of business right now? How many are closing every day? How many don't have enough people to buy things from their place of business? Now, granted, prior to coronavirus, they were already on a somewhat of a decline, but they were figuring it out, right? And I know because we have experts here on the show that talk about retail and strategize how to go online. And I've always said this ever since like forever, make sure you have an online platform, make sure you have the ability to get to the online world, right? Social media is an amazing tool when used. Back to Toys R Us, when Toys R Us ended up folding, how many people saw that coming? A lot of people saw it coming. It was called they didn't invest on their infrastructure of their online ability, and they definitely were not doing the right thing by basically letting Amazon kind of take the world by storm, right? Back to Amazon. Do I think Amazon has the right to make as money as they do? Of course I do, right? But at the end of the day, did they help the American people? Well, they put a lot of people to work, right? And at the end of the day, they're doing the right thing, right? So agree, disagree, you know, hey, you're the smart person in the room. Do smart things, okay? I know people hate to hate on Amazon, but Amazon figured it out, right? So go online, make use of the tools online, reinvest in your infrastructure if you're a business currently right now, because we still are going to have to stay interconnected on this interconnected world. And thank God we have the internet. Thank God we have social media. Thank God we have the ability to talk and chat it up with one another, which I told one person. I remember having the conversation with him and I said, look, and he had this line of thinking, and I thought, your line of thinking is really odd, but okay, whatever. And here's the situation, and tell me what you guys would do in the situation, okay? Especially the gurus in the room financially. Whether you're not a guru in financially, would you have done this? Just out of curiosity, a show of hands, would you have done this, okay? He made an investment over $8 years ago. Okay. It currently, the investment that he made, I'm going to take away his situation, but let's put it this way. It was basically this. He invested 8 years ago about $10,000. He invested more, but whatever. Let's say it was $10,000. Okay. Just for the simple math. In 8 years, it evidently went like this, right? But when COVID hit, it went down and it stayed. Honestly, according to what he said, it was the same as when he put it in 8 years ago. Okay, hold on to that. Now, a logical mind, and I get it. Some people are like, not logic at all, right? Wouldn't you cut your losses at that moment and just say cash out? Well, no, it's going to go back up. Which I said at that moment, this was late March, by the way. I said, well, then I would reinvest it in the online platforms that are going to do really well. And I said, look, streaming is going to do really well. Put it into something in streaming. They're going to do great. I said, put it in Netflix. They'll do great, by the way. That was back in late March. Okay. Guaranteed that guy doesn't have a dime of his money. Guaranteed. And I don't ask me how I know this, but guaranteed he lost all of it or is losing all of it as we speak. Because industries are drying up. You got to reinvest. You got to figure out where to put it, right? But I say stay out as long as possible. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a stock person, but just use your logical mind right now, because wherever we're going, you need to let the dust settle. And once the dust settles, guess what? Everybody's going to start hedging their bets. People are going to start like wanting to sell off companies and sell off things just to cash in because they know where we're going. Coronavirus is still around, people. Sure, there's going to be policies and things that are going to help us in the end, hopefully. But at the end of the day, how do you get people back to working in industries that are more safe than sorry, so that you're not killing and or putting hospitals at the breaking point? And here's what I mean by that. You have, look, healthcare, number one investment, look at healthcare telemedicine. Number one. Okay, that's if I had a stock buy, I'm not analyzing stocks at this time, but look at telemedicine. That's going to skyrocket in the next few months, actually. Guaranteed. Okay, there's technologies that are smart. They're going to get smarter. Think about it. Okay, just think about it. Don't. I'm not going to give you a stock to look at, but if there were industries that I had to look at that are going to do really well in the next coming months and or few years, actually, because coronavirus isn't going away, and you have to think like that. You have to think coronavirus isn't going away. All right. Back to the Depression era. In the Depression era, the smart, forward-thinking people that ended up out of the Depression, because again, we're going to get there. I'm not here to like go, the economy's going to tank, or all going to lose all your money, blah, 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 blah. I'm not doing that. That's only if government got taken over. Then you got a really bad situation, which around the world that's happened in certain countries. We're not there. Seriously. There's some countries where you don't want to be in those countries, because those countries, regime change changes everything. And those countries, you don't want a civil war, people. We do not want a civil war. We want to take the pieces we have, figure it out, and say, what can we do to fix this? It's not all that bad. Okay. There's still things we can work through. There's still things we can do to repair the system. Is the system broken? Of course it is, right? You take a vase, you break it. Oh man, it cracked. Well, as long as it's not all cracked, you can take some super glue, go to a specialist, and figure out how to put the piece of the vase together, right? That's our government, okay? It's got a good infrastructure. It's broken. The legal system is broken. People that disagree, come on, you know it is. There's things that need to be patched up and or worked around. People are broken. You don't throw them away. You don't toss them away. Oh, they're broken. Throw them away. No, you say, okay, all right, I get it. But are you perfect? No. Okay, so there's no perfect government on this earth currently, as I see it. True or true? True. There's no perfect government on this earth. You tell me the perfect government that's on this earth, I will say, I'll wait on the results, right? There's no perfect government on this earth. We're given what we have currently because, well, that's what we got to get, right? Some people pray the Our Father prayer, right? Nobody understands what they're praying for. Oftentimes, when I ask them, they say, "Do you understand what you're asking for?" They say, "Well, yeah." Then I always say, "Recite the Our Father prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done as in heaven, also upon this earth." But they never say this earth. They just say on the earth, right? Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done as in heaven, also upon earth. Well, which government's doing that? I say, and they say, I don't know. I don't really know. I'll get back to you on that, right? Nobody stops to think about why they pray the Our Father prayer, but it's one of the most important factors in the human psyche. Why? All of us are hoping somewhere in the very back of our mind that something magically manifests itself to suddenly fix government, right? Wrong? Maybe so. Maybe that just depends if you're a Bible person talking about a kingdom of God, of a different government ruling in the supernatural world of whatever that is, right? So you right, you get where I'm going with this. You got to like go, well, yeah, but I got to deal with this right now, right? Or I don't. There are some people that go, no, I'm waiting on the kingdom that I pray for, and I say, good job, great job, actually. I can't wait just as much as you can. Seriously, right? The day that comes, sign me up. I'm in it to win it. But until then, we got to deal with the heavy hand that we have, right? So, okay, I get it. Some of you love government. Some of you can't stand it. And some of you just are like, can I just feed my people? And my people are my children. And my people is my husband or my wife, my grandma, my grandpa, my dad, my mom, my uncle, my Theo, my nephew, my niece. Because we're all living together trying to make sense of it all, right? At the end of the day, each and every person, honestly, is their own kind of like, you call the shots in your family, right? Don't believe me, there's at least 2 or 3 that call the shots of any given family. True or true? And usually if it's like, okay, let's say it's a let's put it this way, because people always take issue with the other one, and I'm going to start off by the easiest one, right? The easy one is, let's say it's the kids, okay? You got grandma and grandpa there in the same house, and you got the kids in the room, right? Brother, sister, and Henry, right? Brother and sister got to figure out how to keep grandpa and grandma happy, right? But one of them's going through dementia. The other one is just trying to deal with things, right? But the one that's going through dementia, you got to make a decision. Are we going to put him in a nursing home, or are we going to all rally to take care of grandpa? All right. Well, who's going to make the decision in that house? Do you want grandpa to make the decision? He's the one with dementia. No, that's an obvious no. Okay. All right. Is grandma going to make the decision, the final decision for grandpa? Maybe she is. Maybe grandma is still got her wherewithal, right? And grandma's got to make a decision for grandpa. She's the one that loves him. And at the end of the day, does she have the right to make the final decision if she's got her wherewithal? I would say yes. Now, brother and sister are feuding because brother says, we can do this at the house. Sister says, I don't have the time. And honestly, I don't think you understand how this is going. It's going to get worse. I talk to professionals, and the professionals are saying this dementia is going to get worse eventually. We need to think about the future. But now there's Henry over there. And Henry is actually just the family friend. The family friend comes in and says, guys, can I just help you guys out, all 3 of you? And they say, all right, fine. We're willing to listen to somebody. Whose side are you going to pick? And Henry says this, I'm not picking a side. This is your mess. But can I give you some advice? Brother and sister go, yeah, I'm open for advice. Grandma, you open for advice? Grandma's the one like, yeah, I'm just trying to figure it out. I figure I already know what I'm going to do. Goes what you guys decide, but whatever. Okay. I'll go along with the program because little Johnny and Joanne are kind of strong arming me, thinking it's their decision when it's not. It's my decision. He and I talked about it way back when. But she keeps her mouth shut because little granddaughter and grandson are thinking they rule the nest when they don't. So the family friend says this. Here's some advice, people. I know of 3 great nursing homes. However, why don't you use your common sense? Try to keep him good for as long as you can until it gets to the point. So at least you have a plan, because your sister's not wrong. She's right. If it gets really bad, you may need to put him in a nursing home, or you may need to get help. However, with coronavirus, it'd be better that you push it out as long as possible, because people are getting sick at nursing homes a lot. Oh, we didn't even think about that. I'm just going to tell you ahead of time. That's where we're going, people. I'm the outsider looking at your family. And if you've got a situation like that, you got to think about coronavirus. Okay? Sometimes we have to do the right thing for the time being and say this. Let's take care of Grandpa for the time being. Grandma knows what she's doing already. And Grandma's going to say this. I think that's sound advice. Now, Grandma wasn't thinking about coronavirus. No one was. And in that illustration, I bet you weren't not even thinking, or maybe you were. But that's how you're going to have to start thinking in the days ahead. Okay. That's what the president should be doing and should be suggesting to people instead of throwing rhetoric around. And hopefully in the next coming months, once he wins, he'll say, okay, enough of campaigning. Let's do the right thing. But I have a feeling he's not going to do the right thing. And I'm going to say that right here, right now. That's a sad thing. So I got to stay on the airwaves. I got to stay here online, and I got to be the voice of reason. All right. Now, have I had to deal with a person that goes through dementia? Unfortunately, no. But for those family members that do have to go through that, I can guarantee you right now, it's not an easy life. It's not easy. It's not simple. It's not simple. Sometimes you need 24/7 care for somebody that goes through dementia, and really bad dementia. There's levels of dementia. Now, there are treatments for dementia. There are medications, and there's new breakthroughs coming out that can help alleviate true dementia. Okay. Some is just forgetfulness. That's all it is. Okay. So, and I know sometimes I've asked my mom, but I joke around with her, but I'm always wondering, let me see. Right. But my mom's fine. She has forgetfulness, but we all do. Right. And as you get older, you're going to have forgetfulness. But wouldn't it be terrible if somebody diagnoses somebody ahead of time and says, oh, no, you got dementia. Let's lock them up. But that's a lot of people in America. There's a lot of people in nursing homes. There's a lot of elderly ones that are there because Johnny and Joanne don't have the time to take care of Grandma and Grandpa. Where's the kids? Well, they don't care because they're off doing their own thing. But little Johnny and Joanne, Grandma, Grandpa, I love you. Sadly, more than your own kids. Is that where we've come as America? That we don't take care of our own? We shuffle them off. If you're from another country, you're used to actually taking Grandpa and Grandma in, no matter what. And sometimes I knew of families that pulled all their monies together and, helped each other out. Sometimes Grandpa and Grandma had the wherewithal to get the house when nobody else did. So Grandpa and Grandma take care of the rest of the family members. That happens. It's a thing. No shame in that. At least everybody's pulling double duty, trying to help everybody out, right? But at the end of the day, are you going to be that person that says this? No, I don't care. Grandpa, Grandma got to go away because I got no time. Well, that might have worked previously, but does that work during coronavirus? I think not. Even Cuomo although doing some dumb stuff with coronavirus and certain nursing homes, I think he's learned enough to say, oh, shoot, I messed up. I didn't have all the facts. I didn't have all the facts. Love him or hate him, he didn't have all the facts. Now he has all the facts. What's he going to do? I don't really know. I'm not in his head. But what are you going to do for your family? Do the right thing, okay? Get grandpa and grandma help. And if they're living on their own, say, grandpa, grandma, I don't throw caution to the wind. I'm going to wear face masks every single day. And in some cases, wear the right gear to prevent myself from getting coronavirus so that I could take care of you. And we need to pull together because in the next year and a half, I don't know where we're going, but if the vaccine doesn't come out in time and or it doesn't work as advertised, we got to be in it to win it. Hopefully we'll be out of it in a year and a half, but I'm thinking ahead of time just in case. If you think like that, I can tell you're ahead of the game. You're ahead of the game. Great scenario. I always like to think worst case scenario. People used to hate me for that. You're overthinking it. But I'm usually right when I overthink it. And they go, oh yeah, you're right. So I'm usually the sound reason in the room, but nobody likes to listen to me. And then I have to do that I told you so to say, maybe the next time you'll listen. I had to do that with Jesse today. He forgets because I had to pump it into his head. It isn't a government conspiracy and or cover up because one of the other broadcasters that he was helping out and or helping broadcast wasn't his fault, but the other one was exactly the opposite. So he was starting to go in the way of that other guy. And I knew it because I could sense it. And I'm like, yeah, but Jesse, he's basically saying don't wear face masks. It's a government conspiracy against Trump. But at the end of the day, guess what? There's no shame. There's no shame, right? Just wear a face mask. I could be wrong, but what if I'm right? San Bernardino says, no, face masks are illegal now. They never said that. But you would have thought some people thought that because they're like, nope, no need to wear a face mask. You know who told me that? The dumb guy in the room. Seriously. I'm not going to say his name, but he said some dumb stuff. And he said to me, and he said to his coworkers, no need for face masks. This guy suffers from heart attacks on a regular basis. Cardiac arrest he almost went into one time. And honestly, this is the last guy to give advice because he's not even taking his own advice. Lose weight, right? There's some people that give advice like they know it all, and they're not even taking their own advice. You look at them and go, you do realize you're a suffering heart attack, one heart attack away from probably dying. Yeah, but I love eating. Well, but you don't live your life long enough to, yeah, I do. I don't see it, right? I'm not trying to fat shame anyone. I'm just saying take care of your health if you know you need your health taken care of. Back to the face mask. And I said to him adamantly, and I remember this was in April. San Bernardino, which is our local county, which was the county we were in. This was in the city of Victorville, by the way, a place I used to work at, by the way. And the owner of the TV station said to me, San Bernardino said no, face masks are no longer needed. And I said adamantly this, I don't trust San Bernardino. I'm still going to do the right thing. I'm going to wear my face mask until coronavirus is gone. I didn't say that last part. I didn't. But I'm like, and I love you more than you know. I recommend you wear a face mask. Just saying. Because I'd report the news day in and day out. He'd always say I was wrong. I'd always say I was right. But I says, well, let's agree to disagree until we figure out this thing. Then, boom, a week later, mandatory face mask. You don't know how many people I've had to say things to. And I love to be the guy in the room and go, oh, yeah, you're probably right until it comes to coronavirus. Because usually I feel the majority of things, I don't need to be proven right. I don't. People sometimes think they're right. They're wrong. And I just keep my mouth shut because I'm like, at the end of the day, does it matter? It's not their life. All right, whatever. But if there was a guy drinking in the room, right, would you say to him, hey, you know you shouldn't drive. I've seen you take 3. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. I've done this before. Oh, great. You're that guy in the room. Okay. Well, I'm going to take your keys away. Right. How dare you? You mother beep, 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 right? You know, hey, I'm going to save you from yourself. Once you sober up, I'll give it back to you, right? I feel like I'm always that guy with coronavirus. So I'm willing to lose friends, but I'm willing to say, look, before you go, what if I'm right? Does it matter that I'm right? It actually does, because if I'm right about that, back to stocks. Okay, I talked about certain industries. Oh, back to Netflix. After that, same guy, by the way. You cannot trust this guy. He doesn't make the right decisions. He took his money, didn't do the right thing by listening to me because he's so stubborn. He never liked listening to me unless it was his health. Then he goes, and then I wanted to say I was right about that, wasn't I? But I didn't throw that in his head enough, obviously, because even though I was right every freaking time, my point is this. At the end of the day, I hope the guy lives. He may have done some stupid stuff to me and my mother. Stupid stuff. Do I want him dead? Nah, it was dumb. It was dumb. Do I think he should live? It was really bad. One day I will share it. But my point is this. I would hope he does the right thing for himself. And now it seems that he does. I saw it on his Facebook. He follows me religiously, watches the show, says nothing. He's probably watching right now. Damn it, he's talking about me. Yeah, I'm talking about you. But the reality is this. Look, in life, take care of yourself and those you love. Okay, that's what I was trying to do. Take care of my mom. Keep her safe from harm. Keep her out of the city of LA. Because I know now I'm back in LA. And I got to think of what to do for my mom so that she doesn't get sick, right? I like her to go out, but LA's, she's at high risk. I'm taking care of my mom as best as I can. So if I'm taking care of my mom, obviously I'm not doing the wrong thing, right? Anyway, agree, disagree. Some people like to make false claims and say, nope, you're not taking care of your mother. Can you believe people that would say that? Oh, man. Wow. You'd be like, right? Hello, proof is in the pudding. I can prove it to you. Come on over. They come on over. They check it. Oh, yeah. No, you're taking care of your mom. Why would somebody make a false accusation about you? I don't know. It's weird. It's so weird. Oh, I know. To get us out of Victorville. Yeah, I know what you did. Why do you think I'm not returning your remote? Okay, back to reality, though. And that message was for the person intended who's currently watching. You're welcome. Yeah, I know. I know what you did. And I got proof. Proof is in the pudding. All right, people. Anyway, look, the rest of you, I love you. Okay? The rest of you, I have compassion for you. I really do. Don't do dumb stuff. Okay? And what I mean by that is don't do it against the people that have always had your best interest at heart. I've heard of 8 people that said their a good trusted friend and or a family member turned on them like that. And even the family member going, I don't know what I was thinking. Well, you had a moment of weakness or something got hold of your mind to make you go and do something dumb. Because that person you went at basically always tried to take care of you. True. They always try to take care of you, always try to do the right thing, always try to give you good advice to keep you and yourself alive. But what would you do? Fight them because you thought you were right? And then would you admit when you were not right? No. So don't be the guy in the room and or the lady who says, oh, I am always right. In fact, I've got the history to prove I'm always right. And I'm never wrong. Don't be that person. Okay. I'm the first one to say, yeah, I was wrong. If I'm proven wrong and it makes sense that I was wrong, I'm the first one to admit to it. There's nothing glorious about being the right guy in the room. When I'm wrong, I admit I'm wrong. All right. All right, let's see. Let's talk to some people in the room here. Let's see. We've got some people. Let's see. Let me scroll up a little. Let's scroll up. Let me see. I like Shadow's tuning in. I don't know Shadow's name, but Shadow, that's a cool name. Let's see. It says this. Masks are kind of germ humanoids. Which, again, let me throw a theory out there. Okay, which would you have? No mask or some mask? If somebody has the flu, you don't believe in coronavirus, whatever. If they have the flu and you're susceptible, are you going to wear a face mask in a hospital? Well, yeah. Because more people probably are sick because that's why they're there. What harm does it by wearing a face mask? My liberties are taken away. Okay, don't believe all the hype. Now, granted, you are right. You are right. When, okay, I got a face mask right here, right? All right. Okay. This is an N95 face mask. Okay. Great face mask. Good to breathe in. N95s, and I keep telling people, go buy yourself a pack. KN95s are the same thing. They're Asian version of N95s, but they're the same thing. Okay. They're a lot cheaper than they ever used to be. Get them while they're hot. Hello, they're going to be hot and probably sold out in the next month and a half because seriously, everybody's going to want one of these. But they make you breathe and or breathe out. Now, the ones I don't like are the cloth ones. The cloth ones make it very difficult to breathe. But this one has a good filtration system. That's why N95s. But I get it. The hospitals needed them first. They're the frontline workers. They're the ones right there in front. But now that we are wearing face masks, and the whole world is, right? So they've manufactured. They've had enough time to ramp up, right? So, but limited supplies, depending where you buy them at. I've got several people that can provide this at a moment's notice. But my point is this, okay? At the end of the day, if I come into contact with somebody with coronavirus and they spit on me, this now is contaminated. It is. It just is. This does not eliminate the virus. You understand? The chances, though, go down significantly if two people wear a face mask. One wears a face, and I'm just talking about the flu people. You see, thought I was talking about coronavirus. No, the flu can get people sick. So let's just throw caution in the wind, right? No, I'm not going to get that sick. It's a stomach flu. You're not going to want to get it. You don't want to take time off. Oh, yeah, okay. Worse yet, you got to babysit. That was me in late January. Okay, I had this guest on, and we were talking about the flu, right? And I said, I'm kind of neurotic when it comes to face masks and when somebody's really sick because I got to talk on the morning show, right? I can't lose my voice. So one time I babysat. This is a true story. I babysat. He was 8 at the time, and I had to babysit him, and I didn't want to because he was sick. But I made a commitment to go babysit him, right? And watch cool Netflix and or play video games, whatever. He likes Pokemon. Love the guy. Anyway, miss him. Haven't seen him. But okay, let me focus. Seriously, I'm getting upset with people. Long story short, I wore the face mask for myself, right? And I did so I didn't get sick. And at the end of the day, I didn't get sick. I was able to do the show. And I didn't get his cold or flu virus, whatever he had. I don't remember what it was. But and I would carry these around in my backpack just because of that, right? I don't want to get sick. I'm a little not neurotic anymore. I'm just simply safe, right? I call myself neurotic. I'm not a neurotic person. I just didn't want to get sick. That's it. Okay. Which is worse? Being surrounded by people, 8 of them sick, they don't know it, and now you're going to get sick with a cold. Well, I could stomach a cold, right? But what if you have an underlying condition called pneumonia? Whenever you get a cold, now you got pneumonia. I'm going to dummy it down for the people in the room that don't want to believe in face masks, okay? My point is this. Just wearing one that actually you could breathe in. Now, there's certain cloth masks that make it very difficult to breathe. And I know because we used to do that before we got invested in N95s. My lady at the time made face masks out of cloth. We went to Walmart, made some like handmade ones. They take forever to make. I pity the fool that makes some like mass production just from one up to the other. But we try to figure out different, because that was at the time where N95s weren't being made public, really. And if you stockpile them, you get in trouble. But my point is this. Now we're at the point where you can go get yourself at least a KN95 at the very minimum, okay? And they do the same thing. And get yourself a UV light thing. So you put them in there, keep the UV light outside, put it in, UV both sides of it, boom, sterilize. You do that with the cell phone, boom, sterilize. Do it with your things that could get coronavirus, boom, sterilize. Some people have wands. Those don't all work. That don't believe the gimmicks. I had to do the research. But like UV bags, which are highly rated, put it in, right? If you don't believe it highly rates, leave it in for longer. Usually, I've got a bag right here. I'm not going to show you because I'm not selling them. But I could, if you hit me up, I'll show you the link. But my point is this, okay? There's ways around even what, and he's right. He is right. Gloves, right? A lot of people wearing gloves. Those can transmit. You're supposed to wear the glove in the intended area and then remove it safely, put it in the trash, and you do it right, right? But everybody was wearing them all throughout because they weren't given the right information. Again, there's a lot of misinformation out there. So do the right thing, okay, people. That's my story on that. But I do appreciate you, Shadow. Thank you for bringing that up. Let's see. It says hospitals can be overwhelming without lockdowns in certain areas all over the world. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And I think Shadow and I do agree on this. All right. Let's see. This comment. Rosalie says this. My 3 boys are amazing. At the ages of 15, 12, and 10, they went on homeschooling to help me with my mom. Because I was still working over 40 hours outside the house, they made sure she ate and didn't fall, take her meds, and not walk out the front door. I love my boys. Sad outcome, though. You know what? They did the right thing, right? Good for them. You raise good boys. You should be proud of yourself, by the way, for raising such good boys. 15, 12, and 10 doing that. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I know that sad part. But you know what? In the meantime, sometimes we do things until the very bitter end, right? And sometimes it's not as bitter as it would have been if you all didn't pull together and shared those memories, right? Guaranteed. I don't know your situation, but sometimes we have family members, which, like if you reverse the roles, especially with the elderly and or those that are currently suffering and or sick, and you reverse your role with them, would you want to be stuck alone during this coronavirus situation? Would you want to be stuck alone in a home, never getting a phone call saying, hey, how you doing? Right? Would you want to be stuck alone on an island, which might be the way it feels for some people? Teach them to use social media, okay? Just teach them how to, connect, FaceTime. Hey, grandma, this is how we do it, right? Let's see. All right. So look, at the end of the day, do the right thing by your family and people, okay? Whatever the outcome is, here's what I know. Somebody's going to watch this video way in the future, and they're going to be like, oh, that was a terrible time we lived in. I know. Tell me about it. But my hope is this. At the end of the day, as altruistic as this may seem, I think it's too late for a good majority of us. I really do. And again, wait till I'm done before you cast the stone, okay? Because I'm going to say some things that make a couple people mad. I already know it. But wait till the end. I guarantee you'll always be satisfied when you wait till the end. In life, what I mean by that is the majority right now are quite sane, all right? The majority are quite sane. I believe that through and through. When you look at news media and our outlets talking about those that are throwing caution to the wind, that is not the majority. It's just not. However, I feel that like some of the majority is about to become the minority quite soon. And what I mean by that is it's almost like misinformation is abounding by leaps and bounds. And what I mean by that is, let's take the economy, for example, okay? Nobody's talking about it. Not really. The people that are analyzing it are the smart investors, by the way. You get 3 smart investors in the room, and they suddenly will say, I'm going to reallocate my money into things and stocks that are going to think years into the future. Meaning, I want to take my money and put it in investments that make sense. Okay? But the majority aren't even thinking like that. I see people spending money left, right, and center. And I've told 3 people, hold on to it, get through the summer months. Like if you're going to make as much money, make money during the summer months because the winter is coming and it's going to be a dark one. I never said that to anybody. I guarantee there was nobody I told that to except one. And I said this, make smart buying decisions. Don't buy everything just because. Make smart buying decisions. Okay. Now, I didn't know fully what was coming because I didn't think far enough into the future. I had to figure it out as of most recently, literally 3 days ago. I said, let me see where the world is going for the next 8 months. And the things that I did, the things that I researched are this. The next 8 months, we have to do the right thing at home. Make smart purchasing decisions. Don't spend frivolously. If there's a gift you want to get, wait. Wait. Just wait. I know Christmas is coming. I get it. But wait. Okay? Get through the next 30 days. But hold on to your money. Just hold on. What does it hurt? What does it hurt? Just wait. Okay? Here's why I say that. They're going to push shopping heavily. Okay? There's a reason for that. They got to recoup their costs, and they know shopping's a really big thing. And what do people do when they don't want to pay attention to what's coming? It makes them feel good. So people go and shop. All right? Take your money and just wait. Buy the necessary items for the next 8 weeks. Okay? And do this. Oddly enough, and I know this is going to not sound like the best advice, but hold on. I'm going to give you some food for thought, and you can make the decision on your own. Buy for the next 7 weeks canned goods, food items, and stuff that you're going to need to weather the storm. And here's why I say that. America is on the brink of something coming. And people are not ready for it. They're really not. Okay? When it hits, and it will hit, be ahead of the curve. Okay? When it hits, and people find out coronavirus is surging at an unparalleled time in history, quite high, people are going to panic because the news outlets will most likely report big surges coming. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to spread panic. But if you do the graph and you extrapolate the numbers based on where we're at right now in America, and you look at the numbers and compare them back to March, April, and May, the numbers are already increasingly huge. They talk about indicators. In stocks, there are indicators that when you do the math and you do the research, the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie, people. If you do the math and you do the statistical arrangement of where we're at versus where we were, the numbers do not lie. So I feel, and I've told this to 5 people, I said, after the election, be prepared. About a week and a half for the next big round coming of admission of we need to start locking people down. The first state, Massachusetts, that we reported, that's one of many coming. Doesn't matter who wins, it's going to come regardless. So save your money. Buy enough canned food items that won't spoil, that'll get you through. And or worse yet, you're the one that gets sick with coronavirus and you have to self-quarantine. Think like that, okay? But when a lockdown comes, and it will come, we got to be prepared. I don't want to say this. I don't. But I got to say it. Here it is. We need to think ahead 8 months down the line. Okay? When you think 8 months ahead down the line, you think with more reason, and you buy not out of emotion, you buy logic in your head. You remove the emotion and you say, okay, I need to be a thinking person. 8 months. Okay, so for example, it's what, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, right? Till next summer. Okay, because viruses peak during winter months. They hold out, and then they do decline during summer months. They do. Okay, more people are going to be inside because it's cold. It's going to be more rainy because it's cold and rainy. People are going to want to stay outside. No, they're going to want to go inside. All right. People are not going to listen to the orders. I don't care how many lockdown orders are going to be. There's going to be the majority that are not going to want to listen. That's where I feel we're going, because I think people are sick of being at home. It was fine in the first 3 weeks of the coronavirus lockdown. Remember that? People are like, oh, shoot. Empty streets. People willing to obey. The moment Trump opened his mouth, yeah, we'll be fine by Easter. You know what? Yeah, all of a sudden you saw a huge uptick of people going, oh, yeah, it's going to be fine. What are we doing? Come on. Let's throw all logic to the wind, right? All of a sudden, yeah, it's a government conspiracy. Yeah, this is so stupid. I thought it was dumb. That was dumb, right? People were willing to do it for the first 3 weeks. Everybody. The moment he threw caution to the wind, everybody said, yeah, I want to believe that, right? Some didn't say, I want to believe that. They just like, yeah, he's right. What are we doing? Oh, my God, right? It was like people became like kids overnight. If you don't remember where you were when it first got announced, the first 3 weeks, everybody was okay. And I feel that's a cycle we're going to enter into again for the next 2 weeks after a lockdown is announced in any given area. People will say, oh, shoot, because the math will come out. The statistics will come out. And I hope there aren't certain people out there, including Trump, who, again, thinks going to win. So I'm calling it before it's going to happen for a reason. When he wins, I hope he doesn't do what he did back in April. And I hope he says, yeah, people, I know, I was kind of, but whatever. I hope he doesn't hold to the fact that he was always right, because he's actually never right. If you look at the math, the statistical numbers of any time he's ever spoken about anything, you could see when he would switch it, but then he'd do double talk. So kind of he started in the vein of, no, I do care. And in the same sentence, be like, I don't care. So it's like he kind of said both. So he's not wrong. He's just never right, because he doesn't hold true to one theory. I at least say this, stick to one version. And then if you're wrong, admit that you're wrong. All right. But the math doesn't lie about President Trump. But I still think he's going to win. Electoral vote. Popular vote, theory's still out there. I don't know. But at the end of the day, you got to do right by your own people in your house and or yourself and or your family who maybe not living with you, but you got to make smart decisions for the next 8 months, okay? If you don't want to do the next 8 months, then do the next 8 weeks. But focus on the math, people. When you budget, you got to budget for what? You got to budget for, well, prior to coronavirus, even financial analysts will tell you, have a good slush fund. It's called an emergency fund, but it's a slush fund because we all know we use it, right? Of at least 3 months minimum, right? Smart people that have enough money stored up, 6 months, a year, whatever. Some of you have retirement. Thank God you have that, right? Unless it's invested heavily in stocks, I'd say just, reallocate it, right? For now, wait it out, and then, or look at forward thinking companies that are going to profit for the next 8 months. Guaranteed. Anything that helps people out. That's usually telemedicine. That's number one. Number two, streaming services. But they're going to be a dime a dozen, people. They're going to be a dime a dozen. I've already talked to 3, because I want to do a special event coming up around the corner that involves music and film. So I'm talking to people behind the scenes to make that happen, because I know people are going to get stir crazy and they need basically people to communicate with, to watch a festival with, which I'm trying to do like a 5-day festival. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a 5-day, maybe a day-by-day one, but think Zoom combined with film and music. Do that for 8 days straight. There you go. That's my idea. You guys want to do it yourself? More power to you. But my point is this. You got to think in this way. You just have to think, okay, how can we bring people closer? Because they're going to be so far out. There's people in states that do the right thing. There's people in countries that do the right thing, right? I know you see the rioters, you see the protesters, but that lasts for like 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 days max. I think the last time we had a really bad one, I think the eight day average is pretty realistic, right? Because you can only protest for so much and loot and or kill people off, right? Which has happened around the world, by the way. Weird, right? It's not the United States of America only. Makes you kind of question things, right? That's happening around the world, not just the United States of America. Get out of your side of your bubble. All right, people, let's look at the comments here on social media. Here we go again. It says Don Sanchez. Don Sanchez on Periscope. Let's see. Algenia. Let's see. You have several comments here. Let me see which one. Let's see. Okay, intelligence mind perceive the danger. Intelligence mind perceive the danger. I think it mean intelligent mind perceive the danger. Yeah, exactly. Because you could see the situation coming. I'm all for positivity, right? Let's put a positive spin on this, okay? Positive spin on the information I just gave, okay? Well, let's say, for example, right? You think ahead. You think 8 weeks, 8 months, and 8 years. What is the best investment for people no matter what? A shoe in, right? Usually you think like that. That's the investor in the room, okay? President Trump being the multi-investor dude should look at healthcare being the investment, right? No matter what, healthcare is a for sure solid buy-in. 100%. Healthcare is not going anywhere, right? There you go. Put your money in that. You're going to make a lot of money. Boom. Done. Positive. You can get a lot of positive when you get the analysis of the data and you say, okay, how can we make use of that? Some people don't like the way they use data because it's very, very self-serving. So some people get upset about that. Yeah, but you made a profit, you cash out, boom. What can you do with that money, right? They say when in stock market, there's winners and losers. So there's usually a loser at the side of a winner. When you buy and sell stock, you buy it, you hold it, hopefully it goes up, but usually some will short sale it, right? So there's a short sale that's happening right now. People are erring on the side of caution, meaning we see the data, which is why when the numbers come out about coronavirus, the real numbers within the next 3 weeks, you're going to see such a decline because that's how investors think. Investors think long-term. They do not think short-term. You have scalpers that think short-term. So you'll see uptick all of a sudden when it goes on a sharp decline. This happened, I think, I want to say in 1985. There was a sharp decline. All of a sudden, it bottomed out. Never, because there's always a moment where there's smart money at, which says if it's such a sharp decline, we're going to buy at this, and then it suddenly goes up. But it may go up and then still down past that. So that's where they profit from, and then they remove. I know because I used to do currency trading, and I'd make a buttload of money if the broker didn't do the wrong thing and spike it at the wrong time, which they're no longer in business. No wonder why. But my point is this. I used to do the math on numbers all the time. And when I did it religiously, I'd always come out on top. If you want to do a fun game, do that. But download the app and then run it. There's a way to do it, and you kind of do it based on history. You can start in 1990 and just like, do you make the right calls more often than not? Or do you have the math to prove it, and or the strategy to say, do I get more winners than losers? And honestly, I was able to formulate, I got more winners out of losers when I took the logic part of my brain and kept it logic. When you take the emotional part and you mix it with the logic, and that's when people mess up. Okay. You can't make emotional purchases on data. You just can't. You have to look at the data. But look at the data and come back to me and say, emotionally, you're not going to feel good when you make a profit, right? Which is on the flip side of that. When you lose a lot of money, you're going to lose a lot of emotional stability. Back to the Depression of 1930. Many analysts, and I've done research on 5 of them, have said this much. One of them says we're already in the Depression. We just don't know it. 3 said if we don't watch out, we're about to hit a major time where the economy is going to do really bad. I'll just say that much. And the other simply said, and I hate to say it because I don't want to say it, but he said this, and it's sad that he would even say this. I don't even want to say it. I'm not going to say it because it was that dumb. It was so stupid. I heard it and I said, oh, no wonder you're saying that. You got all the cash in the world. Of course you would say that, right? He said, and I quote, nah, you know what? I say when stupid people talk, why listen? That's how dumb it was. But the 4 of the 5, I know some of you are like, well, no, I want to know what he says. Okay. Basically, it was to the effect of, don't worry, it'll be fine. Reinvest your money because Trump's going to win. That was the subtext of what he was saying. And I say, if you believe that, you do not understand data. You don't. There has to be a certain amount of people buying to begin with. There has to be a certain amount of credit extended. There has to be a certain amount of things that have to happen financially in order for the data to add up. Remember the recession of 2008? That was right. Do you remember that? Did you lose money? If you did, then you understand what I'm talking about. People were talking about a balloon, and people were like, what the heck is a balloon? When it came to the housing market, right? There's a balloon coming. It doesn't make sense. The data doesn't make sense. And everybody's like, it makes sense. I can make a killing. Watch. And at the height of it, people were investing all their money in real estate thinking, because everybody was getting a loan, right? Remember that? Everybody was getting a loan. And then what happened? Overnight, boom, banking gone. No, not gone. Just like several big entities suddenly closed shop and people were like, what? You had my money in there, right? Government sure stepped in for that. Did the right thing for that. Yeah, good job. We're still got some around, right? Some cashed in on that because they did so before it came. They were the smart money in the room. They're like, we see the numbers, we see the math. Oh shoot, you don't believe me? Do the math. There were certain ones they cashed out quick. I see the data. There are people behind the scenes. I remember when that was happening. There were some people, one hairstylist, who had very smart customers, and one of the customers told her, take your money out. Take it out now. Take it out. Now, nothing bad happened. It wasn't apocalyptic at the time, thank God. But they were advising take your money out, like out of the bank, or at least have enough of a savings financially to weather the storm. And honestly, me and my lady at that time, we actually did that, right? We're like, oh, take the money out just in case, right? Take a few hundred out just in case. And nothing bad happened that bad because government stepped in, right? So I'm hoping that's the way the situation is going to roll out, right? If and when, which if you look at the data, look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Good job. You still got your money, right? But if I'm right financially, if you have investments in stocks that you think are going to do well because Trump's going to win, be careful. That's all I got to say. Be careful. If you got money in your pocket right now and you want to buy gifts, because, trust me, I got 3 gifts I want to buy right now. But I'm kind of erring on the side of caution, saying, well, does it make a smart purchase? Does it make a purchase smart if you do it anyway, or you don't do it at the right time? For example, I want to get my mom a VR headset. Okay, now part of me is doing the math on that, right? I'm like, okay, well, it would make sense. It would keep her entertained while she's home because she's bored, right? Who isn't bored? And, maybe it would give her something to do that's a little different than what she's currently doing. And it would keep her safe. It's better than putting her in harm's way or, I don't know, leaving her home by herself. Give her something to do, right? Her laptop messed up, right? My point is, So I'm making a decision based on not just on the numbers, because the numbers don't add up financially just yet, but I got to go, well, or do I want to invest in food items that can make her live? And honestly, she doesn't need much technically, but I want to keep her happy, right? I can like do the survival route and be like, okay, we're only drinking protein shakes, which is what we did for 3 months straight. And I could say that, but no, you want her happy, want her to be able to, enjoy the food that she's making and be in good living conditions, right? So I think that's the way we want for all of us, right? But does that mean I'm going to go buy a Ferrari all of a sudden, right? Just because I can? No, nobody would do that. But sometimes we think with our heart, and we think, oh, the holidays are coming, and we like, November, Thanksgiving. I guarantee Thanksgiving, a lot of people aren't going to want to face the music, and people are going to be like, oh, special deal, blah, blah, blah. And then boom, coronavirus hits. Oh, we forgot to tell you all, huge spike, or we get locked down. Well, whether or not a lockdown occurs in your area, economy's hurting. Do the math, do the research. Financially, companies are falling as we speak. But there's so much news, not financial, unless you follow financial news. I'll give you an example. The dollar has depreciated. Did you know that? 92 cents. Watch the currency. It's depreciated. Somebody said, well, they're going to print more money. Well, when you print more money, the dollar average can depreciate. Don't believe me? Some governments have depreciated so far. A loaf of bread, normally $5.99, suddenly $13.80. You don't believe me? There's a country, I'm not going to say their name, that's what happened. Civil unrest abounded, violence happened overnight. Not true. It took a while to get there. But they were so unhappy. They're like, why is it so expensive? Well, the smart money knew to pull out. Some people do not analyze the data. Some people get caught up after the fact. The smart money and the smart people in the room don't want to tell the majority. They don't want to announce it. They don't want to create panic, but they can see it coming. They'll call or some of their trusted friends and say, hey, by the way, just so you know. I know, because I've been on the receiving end of 3 of those conversations where the friend told me they were told by the friend, the smart money. I'm like, really? I used to not care about stocks and or financial currencies or any of it way back in the day. Now I see it coming and I go, oh boy. All right, so there you go. I know some of you are thinking, well, why is he not investing his money in like where it makes sense? Because honestly, now I have no money. You want to know what happened to me? Okay, I'm going to be very real here. All right, back in 2012. All right, I was starting to trade because I did the math on currency trading. It was amazing. I loved currency trading. It goes up, it goes down. You make money either way, right? You do. It's amazing. And I did enough of the math of the research to go back and forth. And I saw certain little things happen. They were what I call inconsistencies, right? They look like inconsistencies, but I go, where can you profit with this inconsistent move, right? And I suddenly discovered a really cool strategy, which when I applied it, I could make minimum about 20,000 into over, I think if I would have kept doing it, I think I theorized it into about 180,000 is what I could make within. I did the math on the program. I could have made it within 3 months, right? If I just stuck to the strategy. It was a really good winning strategy. And I took what I thought would be a winning strategy and I applied it inadvertently. And unfortunately, all of a sudden, like overnight, there was a huge blip. It was huge. It was like a sharp decline. It went, whoa. Contrary to the strategy, I saw so much of the money going like, because it was like minutes, not hours, not days. You could profit in minutes and or lose a lot of money like that if you don't hedge your bet, right? Now, I was so trusting of this strategy that I thought I couldn't lose, right? And I never seen such a sharp decline ever. It was a huge blip. It went whoop in the opposite direction in seconds. And I panicked. And I saw what went from a good amount of money to a lot of loss. And I was like, and I did what any thinking person would do. I can't lose the majority of the investment. I'm pretty sure I can regain it eventually, but I can't do it at this rate. And I said, sell. I lost over $8,000 on one trade. Okay. Mm-hmm. Come to find out, the institution that had the money illegally had corrupted data. Well, they didn't have corrupted data. They would do this to investors. And the SEC eventually closed up this brokerage. But do you think the investors that lost their money were able to collect a dime? No. Until this day, I've often said, what would have happened if I would have gone with another brokerage? So when that happened, I was out because it wasn't my money. What was worse is that was my girlfriend's at the time. It was her money. We made this like idea that we were both going to profit from it financially, but it was her money. So I had to do what any thinking person would do. Pull it out, tell her, I'm so sorry. I lost so much money. What? That was the worst conversation of my life, financially speaking. Worst one. I did not want to have that conversation. Give it back. I said, I'm pretty sure I can make the rest. It was an abnormality. I don't know what it was. Give it back. I can't stand to lose the rest of the money. I said, I know. I'm sorry. Pulled the money out, gave it back. Went within 8 months, we broke up, but we didn't break up because of that. But I said, and she's like, I need the money back. I go, I don't have the money. I was hoping to have the money from that money. So I had to pay her back every dime. Still paying, by the way. But my point is, you got to pay back what you owe, right? Eventually, at some point when you have the money, right? And no matter what, I was like, okay, well, I was a dummy. Now, if I hit a big win all of a sudden, guess what? Here's some money. No, because I haven't invested like that. I haven't done currency trading ever since. I kind of wanted to, but you got to have a good, amount of money. But my point is this, okay, people? I love numbers and I love strategies and I love seeing which strategy will think outside the box in order to profit from. But when you got brokerages and or government institutions that profit off of other people's losses, I no longer have the patience. I never sent my ex that bit of information that, I lost the money due to it wasn't a bad trade. It was that the brokerage was a bad brokerage. I should have done the research on this brokerage. SEC got them in trouble. Some investors maybe got their money back. I didn't get a dime back. Stupid brokerage. But we live and learn, right? We live and learn. What are you going to do from that? Well, I'm not going to currency trade anymore. That was my bottom line thinking. I always said though, if I ever have money, I'm going to go back to that research, do the research again, rethink it, and then reinvest it when I have the money to be able to reinvest it and make the amount of money because come on, turn 20,000 into like 180,000 in 3 months. Wouldn't you want that winning investment strategy? All right, people. Anyway, it is what it is. Listen to the numbers, listen to the data, believe the people that have the data. Don't always believe in how they, skew it so as for you to not profit from it. But listen to the person in the room on both ends of the story, even when it comes to currency trading and or stock exchange. Okay, listen to both sides. There's what are called contrarians, and then there are the others, right? The contrarians like to go against the market and look at where there are profitable areas in order to profit from. Okay, some people call it greedy. I call it smart. Okay, however you make the money, I don't really care if you do it in the right strategy and or the right reason. But if you have money and you invest in it in somebody else's hands, I say be careful because they sometimes don't have your best interest at heart. Just saying. All right, people. I do appreciate you. Let's see. Let's go back to comments before I head off here. Let's see. Let's go up. Let's see. Keep going. Let's see. No matter what you do with your basket, read the tax damage of what you do. What do you? Oh, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. The tax damage of what you do. Yeah, here's the reality, and I will go off of what he's saying. You got to be careful, right? With whatever advice you get, don't believe the first person that gives you advice. However, this is a funny theory that I'm going to throw out there. Okay, I had this conversation earlier with Jesse before the show. We like to have funny conversations, but I just hear me out at the end, okay? If you took a total of 8 people, all right, you put them into a room and you say this, look, here's some stocks. Each of you pick the best 3 stocks that you think are good. You take 8 people, all right? And you take it to people that regularly do stock exchange. It's very hard to teach people stock numbers and stock theory and stock strategy and stock everything and lump it all together to do predictive analysis. But there's computers that do this, by the way. And there's strategies that some people sell these strategies until they don't work. But usually there are 3 that I can think of that actually are very methodical and they work every time. Okay? But everybody's looking for the Holy Grail, but there you go. Here's the reality. In life, there are people that rig it, take advantage of it, and just try to do the right thing, okay? As long as it's not rigged, you can make money. If you have a trusted brokerage, you can make money, right? And they're still in it to win it financially. They're not trying to profit from scalping, and false data coming in, scaring day traders that are new, right? And or old or seasoned, usually trade long-term, not short-term, right? Day trading, as he's talking about, is very difficult, right? Super difficult. And again, the reason I bring that up is I think a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money, including long-time investors. If you don't believe me, do the math, okay? There are a total, let me bring it up for those of you that are believing I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. I'm going to type this in. The words are, to show you how I do the research, okay? The words are finance, loss, and this word, investing. All right, let's see. All right, that's not what I wanted. Let's go to, I'll type this in instead. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter really. I know half of you are like, Wait, no, I want to know. But the others are like, yeah, but whatever he says, I'm going to believe what I want to believe, right? It doesn't matter. If you have money, it matters. If you don't have money, it doesn't matter. Some people win, some people lose. It doesn't matter unless you lost the money. And if you lose the money, that was my retirement. That was my pension. That was my everything. And then suddenly it matters. Be careful, people. Be careful. All right. I'm done. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. All right. There you go. All right, people. Take it for what it is. Okay. Take it for what it is. If you find it helpful, great. If you don't find it helpful, don't. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Let's see. I like Shadow. He says most people have to hodl their investments, mutual funds. I don't know about hodl, but hedge, you mean? Or yeah. You definitely need to keep track. It's better, especially if you're a long-term investor. And the person that I advise, he's like, it's always going to go up. I go, it also goes down. But I get it. He was trying to be prospective, but does it make sense? Okay, I shared his example earlier. I said, well, if you invested $10,000 and you ended up at $10,000 at the end of 8 years, technically you're at a net loss. He didn't do the math. Because if you invested 8 years ago and you gain that much money and it goes back to $10,000, you lost. It's been caught up for 8 years. You understand? Money depreciates. It doesn't appreciate. And at the current currency trading volume at 93 cents on the dollar, the value of the dollar has gone down. I know you guys don't understand half of what I'm saying because I guarantee half in the room don't even know or have done the research. Purchasing power is extremely important when you deal with other countries, okay? For example, I used to trade in one of the most volatile ones called the British pound and the Japanese yen. The reason I traded, hugely volatile. Sharp ups, sharp down, sharp ups, sharp downs. Now you had the euro versus the Japanese yen, which technically slow moving, pretty steady, but takes forever to profit from, right? Well, I'm young, thinking I could make a killing in British pound and the Japanese yen with this strategy, right? But here's what I should have done different. You want to know what I should have done different? I should have taken my own money and invested it. Basically, saved up enough, taken my own money, not used my girlfriend's money at the time. I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong, and I'm willing to pay it back eventually, even if it takes forever to pay it back. So maybe I'm not right anymore, right? Well, who are you going to listen to? Listen to the data and the analysis, all right? Do the math, right? I'm a much smarter investor in my mind, but have I, made those investments as of yet? No, because I put all of my time and all my energy into this, all right? The show that you watch, all of the money I ever made, I reinvested into this. And oftentimes I go, why, right? Do I make the amount of money that big news personalities make? No, because I'm not under contract. Should I be? I probably should. I should call 3 and say, but then I have to do what they say, right? I'm not big on that. I'm big on saying, look, be the independent person in the room, right? Don't get told what to do, right? In fact, do the right thing. And because if I did everything I was told to do, I oftentimes have to remind people if I'm on their platform, I say, if I did what you did when it comes to coronavirus, people might die. Do you understand why I'm not going to go that route? Well, just can you change what you say? No. Maybe I need to quit. I said that to one. Ooh, boy. Because I was willing to walk away. I'm still willing to walk away if it came down to that. But at the end of the day, here we are, coronavirus. Let the facts speak for themselves. I've been right when it comes to coronavirus. And back to the person who I recommended, if he had made, let me give you an idea. Okay. I said this in March and I told him invested in Netflix. Now, the one I didn't see coming, which I wish I would have, but I wasn't investing at the time. I probably would have invested in Zoom. Okay. I probably would have, because I knew, and I said it on the show, I said, Zoom's going to do really well because they're giving it away for free at the height of it, right? Zoom was giving it away. And that was the biggest PR push for them because they were giving it away to schools. They were giving it away to people for a limited time. Now, granted, they had hackers, they had things, but I told somebody, he goes, yeah, well, they have hackers, blah, blah, blah. They get in. I go, yeah, but it's still going to do well. I never said that to him because I didn't want to give him any more information, but I knew it's going to do really well. Netflix. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Netflix, biggest gain. Netflix did huge, by the way. Here it is. 5 big numbers. This is according to Forbes. 5 big numbers that show Netflix's massive growth. Okay, that's a lot of data. It's data. This is going to bore you. Back in 2019, this was a headline of December. Netflix was the top stock of the decade. Okay, just take that. That was prior to coronavirus, right? In April, I told him, kid you not, I told him, March, I said, be careful. If you're going to put your money anywhere, put it in Netflix. Here's what happened in March, okay? Netflix adds 15 million subscribers as people stream more than ever, but warns about tough road ahead. But they increased their numbers, okay? They added 15.8 million subscribers in a month, more than double the 7.2 million that were expected, a growth of more than 22% year over year. Netflix now has 182 million subscribers worldwide. The company saw quarterly revenue of 5.77 billion versus the 5.76 billion estimated. Now, they had some information to their shareholders, which, you know, at the time, they were like, well, you know, we're careful. I could pull up the chart on Netflix, but does it matter? If he would have listened to my advice, he would have at least come out on top, but he didn't. And he's coming down on the bottom with his financial, I know everything mentality. So don't be like him, okay, people? All right, people, I'm out of time. Make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, life is worth living. Live it well. And remember, wherever you get the advice, do the research. Just do the research. Figure it out. You will figure it out eventually because I believe in you, because you'll at least figure out the right thing, okay? Do the right thing. But let me, before I leave, okay? What if you did this with those 8 people? Sorry, I know I digress. The 8 people, you took of the 8 people, the ones that consistently lost. They consistently lost, right? But they're consistent. You test them for a week, you test them for 2 weeks, you test them for 3 weeks, you test them for 4 weeks, you test them for 5 weeks, you test them for 8 weeks. They're consistently losing. You give them $100 at a time. Which stocks are you going to buy? They lose all their money, statistically. Every freaking time. And you don't even have to do it in the minute by minute. You can get 8 weeks of time, honestly, minimize it into 5 days because you do calculation. You could go based on histographs, by the way, back to 1990 and trade based on numbers or it's weird when you look at the numbers, but it's like, oh, there's patterns that emerge all of a sudden. And looking at the numbers, I think the smart money knows where the numbers are going, or get indicators of where the money's going. But my point is this. If you do just the data without like the financial numbers, that's why day traders make a killing, by the way, when they do. The problem is putting too much money at the wrong time. You got to know what you're willing to lose, right, on any given trade, which is why people say it's a gamble, because it kind of is in a way, in a weird way. But my point is this. It's more strategy than gambling if you know the math. True. And if you took 8 people in the room, you take the top 2 that consistently lose so bad that they lose all the money, you hedge your bet against them. Is that what you pick? Good. Pick the opposite. You'll win every time. That's how currency trading works. Don't believe me? Look at the numbers. Anyway, all right. So that's look. Try it. And if that's your life, if you consistently make bad decisions and you think you know what to do, then listen to the other person in the room that makes either consistent decisions to do right in the room, or just take what you normally do. What would I normally do in this? And pick the opposite route of going, because sometimes you're your own worst enemy. What? Sometimes we are. Make bad decisions consistently, right? Anyway. All right, people. I love you. Make it a great day. Whatever you do, remember, life is worth living. Live it well. Bye-bye, everyone.